Bottle opener.
Hello.
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 And welcome to Murder with My Sister.
I'm Marie.
And I'm Lisa. And today we have a nightmare of a story to tell you. But first, can I tell you something fun?
Yeah.
Okay, I sit in my office all day long while I work.
Yeah.
And I'm cold all day long.
Yeah.
And then I have Aubrey's heater in here. And
Yeah.
every single time, hang on, I'm pouring my beer. That's why I sound far away.
Pour in your 1, 2.
My one, too. Every single time that we get ready to record, I get
Mhm.
warm. Do you want to know what I think it is?
What?
Do you think I'm nervous?
I think so.
Yeah, like it's all like is it coincidental that I have a hot flash every single time that I'm about to get
No,
online with you?
it's not
No.
that. No.
The listeners make me nervous.
We can't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up.
No, well, do you want to know what's really awkward?
Okay.
I got a text from Joey. I hope I could say his last name, McCarthy, who
Yeah.
talked about the missing in Illinois.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my God, you listen?" And then I know Kristen listens.
Yeah.
And
I
then
didn't know
Seamus was like,
Seamus listened.
I didn't. And I was like, now
Shamey.
Hi, Shamey. Now I'm so nervous. It's almost like I think I would prefer none of the people that I know to listen and just strangers because then if they
If they
judge me.
say if they say something terrible like "you suck,"
Right.
it doesn't feel so bad, really. Whatever.
Well, my family's been telling me I suck for years, so I'm used to that. That's
No.
not new news for me.
No.
But it was just like, I'm like, "Oh my God," bleh, like a little
A little
nervous.
nervous?
Because I don't tell people about this, right? Like, I'm the worst.
I don't
Oh, okay.
I don't, I don't
I
know, I
don't
feel silly
advertise.
about it. I don't
I
really,
I
"Hey,
know,
listen to
and
my
that's
podcast."
why I was like, Like, when people are like, "Oh, advertise, advertise, advertise," and I'm like, "Well, maybe
Does
not."
does pushing the post count?
Yes.
Good. We do
Yes, it
that.
does.
Okay.
Yeah, you're doing a great job with all of the medias that you're doing because you're doing it's not chit chat. What is it called? Snapchat. No, it's not
Instagram.
it. Instagram. What is it? Instagram
Instagram, and then
and
I do
TikTok.
the
Taki.
TikTok. And
Okay,
then
and I'm doing Facebook because I'm
yeah,
old and that's all I do.
and I don't know how to use it, so you do that.
Perfect.
So,
Mm.
Charmaine, hi, Charmaine. I texted her and I let her know we were doing the last episode. It dropped to it dropped this week, but you'll be hearing this obviously a few weeks from now. But missing in Illinois, and I said, Charmaine, I did your story. You got to listen, and she's like, oh, that's great, and all that stuff. But then she sent me another story.
Oh. Is she gonna keep us in business?
I know. So she
Okay.
sent me a story. I added it to the Google Doc, stories we
Mhm.
want to cover.
Mhm.
It's from Bolingbrook. So she's
Okay.
like, with all the business we got in Illinois, she's like, you're gonna have to do a part 2 to missing in Illinois. But
Yeah, we
I
are.
was like,
Hang
probably
on.
so.
I was just putting my leftover 1, 2 back in the Frigidaire.
And then did you see the did you see
What?
what I did with the stories we want to cover? A document?
No. What I didn't think you're allowed in there. I thought I was the admin for our business.
I can alter it.
Oh, what did you do?
So I feel like the stories that we want to do are getting lost in the
Oh God.
document. So I pushed all the things that we have completed or are scheduled. They're black ink and they're at the bottom. And then the stuff that isn't done yet, possible stories to do, I made each paragraph a different color so that they didn't all blend together. And each color is a different story. And they're at the
Okay.
top because we have not done them yet.
First of all, let me just tell you, number one, you organized my document.
I organized your
Don't do
document.
that. Like,
Shut
my
up.
ADHD can't handle this beautifulness. And secondly, can I just tell you, I love that you, for us, put all of these god awful things in a beautiful rainbow color,
And the
like we're
rainbows.
doing something pretty.
It's not pretty.
It's
I mean,
not
I
like
could make
all of
them all, like,
the
red. Bleh.
no, you did the beautiful progression in color. Like you really did follow a nice like symmetry
Thank you.
between the colors,
Thank
but
you.
it's thank you for that. Thank you for trying to make something pretty out of something
I was just trying to
horribly
see
ugly.
all the things, and then I was looking for made myself a little Post-it
Mhm.
about and I all I wrote was
Sorry, I'm sick again,
couples
if I
oh,
didn't
no
tell you.
worries.
Mhm.
All I wrote was couples murders. And then I
Ooh.
made them and I knew what I was thinking of, but I didn't know the name that the story went by.
Mhm.
So then I do the dumb thing and I put couples murders in Google search.
Okay.
We're a depraved and awful society. Let me just tell you that.
Yeah. No, we are, we are.
OMG.
That's how come
OMG.
there's 1,062 true crime podcasts that are old and successful and 3,064 that are new and trying to be successful.
And we still have material. That's the
You
sucky
know,
part.
Eric asked me just today, he's like, "Do you guys think you're gonna run out of stories?" And I'm like, "Well,
He also
maybe if
doesn't think
they"
that kids getting kidnapped
correct.
is a real
I'm like,
thing.
"Maybe if people stop getting murdered, we will." I'm like, "But did you just hear about the woman in Downers Grove this
Mm-mm.
week?"
Mm-mm.
It was terrible. She was 5 months pregnant.
Oh, no.
She sold a vehicle on Facebook Marketplace, and the man
No.
came back to her house. He was unhappy with it, and when she opened the door, he stabbed her 70 times in her
What?
yes. This happened this past week in Downers Grove.
No.
Another man in Oswego killed his I mean, it's
What is wrong with people?
we have to is it new meds? Is it more therapy? What is it we need to do that people are so unhinged? Or have they always been and we just didn't have this type of coverage?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I read about and I hear
I don't
about
know.
some pretty awful stories from, like, the yesteryears. So I
Oh,
feel like the short answer is we've always done it, and
yeah.
maybe, yeah, we're just have a
Yeah.
platform to talk about it.
Well, you know me.
Yeah, I know you.
You know me. I like to go fuck everybody's week up. It's Friday night here. You think you're gonna have a nice weekend and
Nope.
uh, wrong, bitch. I'm
Here it
gonna
is.
depress you. I'm gonna make you miserable and unhappy. But these fall on Monday.
Yeah,
So you'll hear this on your way to work on Monday and then be so sad the whole day. Maybe
you're
you'll call
welcome.
in sick. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're very welcome. Um also again like we got sick for the third time. I'm going to try so hard not to cough into the microphone. So I'll do this. Can you hear me still?
If you just lean back when
Like
you
that?
cough or clear like, I just lean away from the microphone when
I'll
I
try
do
very
that.
hard.
Um, the AI tools are
Will
really good
help.
at getting rid of it.
Thank God. Thank
'Cause there's
God.
been a couple times that I refer to the, "Oh, that's the dogs barking," or you say, "Oh, can you hear that?" And I hear the kids in the moment, but after I do the AI tool, I don't know what you're talking about, can't hear it anymore.
Sweet.
I know.
Okay. So,
This week's disaster
well,
is
can I start with the thing that I love to do, which is why are we talking about something?
yes,
Okay.
please.
Because as we talk about this awful, awful, awful tragedy of a case,
Mhm.
I feel like it struck a chord because it is an incredible example of how and why we should do better.
Mhm.
So much of this is examples of doing better as a society and we're obligated to our little people to do better. We should be doing more for them,
Mhm.
to keep them safe. And so for those of you who are like, "Oh my god, why would you do this?" That's why.
That's
Because
why.
we need to know what went wrong and how we can never, ever, ever let it go wrong again.
If you don't remember your history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Oh. Damn, did you
Oh,
make
I
that
didn't
up?
no, I didn't make that up. Somebody famous said it. I don't remember who.
I think you.
'Cause every time I think about, like, in the politics world, like, they keep
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
talking no, listen. They keep talking about, like, how we shouldn't do this and we shouldn't do that and blah, 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 and then you look back at, like, the 1940s in Germany, and you look even
Yeah.
back before that to, like, the Roman Empire, and we're literally repeating history, and we already saw how that turned out. I don't understand why we're like, "We're just gonna pay
Yeah.
attention to that." So you have
We are
to
in a
remember
current
your
cycle of
history.
repetition that's not great.
Mm, mm,
But,
mm.
well, you know what? Allow me to make it worse. Okay?
There it is.
So, there it is. So I'm gonna tell you today, we are gonna tell you about young Angie Housman. She was a sweet, happy little girl. She was known to be the type of girl who talked to people to make friends. I have met little girls like this who are just loquacious little things. Like, do you
Mm,
remember meeting little kids where they just come up to you and start talking and you're like,
mhm.
wait, why are you
No
talking to me?
fear, no
No
shyness.
fear.
I'm
They're
like,
just
"What's that like?"
curious and inquisitive.
Yeah.
So if she knew you, she considered you to be her friend. Um, so at the time that this story is going to happen, it wasn't, I don't think it, especially depending on where you lived, one of those things where it was like stranger danger had,
Mhm.
I know stranger danger happened in the 80s, but there were still some places like, no, we're safe here. We're good here. We got this.
And she was a baby in the '80s. She wasn't
Yeah.
old enough to even
Yeah.
know all that stuff or see it. Like,
Mhm.
we were, like, 10 years old at in '85, right?
Yes,
84,
we were.
'86.
Good
So,
math.
I feel like we were more aware of all that
Mhm.
craziness because we were a little bit
Mhm.
older. Angie was like a baby.
A
She
baby.
was she was a baby.
So this is the story starts on Thursday, November 18th, 1993. It's 1 week before Thanksgiving. Angie was in the 4th grade. She was 9 years old. So in 1993, nope. Mm-mm.
Before you get rolling,
Oh,
I watched On the Case with Paula Zahn,
so did I. Oh shit,
Justice
we
for
didn't do our
Angie,
sources.
Justice for Angie, season 23, ep 7. Lisa listened to True Crime Garage, Stolen, episodes 853, 54, 55.
Mhm.
And then ABC News article, Man
Mhm.
Charged, and all that good stuff.
It
So,
Yeah, it
go.
was, I included the link. I don't know if we're
Yeah.
at a point in our podcasting careers where we're able to link links. I mean, that sounds like a senior kind of a podcast thing.
Here's what I'm going to do.
Tell me.
When I post this, I
Mhm.
will click on some other buttons on the Spotify
Mm.
for
Mhm.
creators platform.
Mhm.
I feel like there's
Yeah.
a spot that you can
Ooh,
put show notes,
there always is.
and then that would maybe be the place where I could copy and paste it.
Put it in there.
I'm gonna give it a go.
Okay.
All right.
So, 1993, kids are walking home alone. Kids are walking home from school. Kids are babysitting other kids.
Mhm.
11-year-old little Lisa was babysitting a whole family of people. Um, so when we talk about these cases, and now, of course, we know, like, kids don't do all that stuff anymore. I just wanna preface this before we get the angry mob of people who are like, "Oh my god, why was we didn't do she was walking home because kids walked home. She was in a safe
Yep.
spot." And her bus stop was 8 houses from her house. You know what that means?
8
You could see if the
houses.
bus pulled up at the corner, you could see her getting on and off it from your house.
Yeah.
So in this particular moment though, there were people who did live on the street and they were there to watch the kids get off the bus and go home. And there was also a woman who liked to just watch them get on, and I mean that's, I got it,
Mhm.
watch the kiddies get on and off. And this particular day in November, none of those people were there. So it was
It's
one of
so
those,
bizarre. It's
I don't,
so bizarre.
I
They
hate
said,
it.
like,
I
normally
hate it.
the block would be, like, teeming
Yes.
with kids
Yes.
and people and all the things, and there was no one around.
I don't like it because I don't like when people are like, "Oh, it was fortuitous," or because this is too ugly. No.
Mhm.
Could it just be that instead of maybe saying it was fortuitous, it happened this way because that person was waiting because he knew those other things weren't in place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
it
she
wasn't that
was
it wasn't the universe, it was this fucking predator
yeah,
waiting for those things to line up
yeah,
to be able to do what he did.
yeah.
Okay.
And she was 9 years old
9.
and in 4th grade.
Yes.
So
I have
you all just think about that.
to close my window now that I'm not scared anymore.
Her stepfather, got home that afternoon, and usually his name is Ron,
Yep.
would see her backpack when he got home, and then it's confirmed that she was on the bus. The little kids on
Mhm.
the bus said, yes, she was on the bus and got off the bus.
Mhm.
She was 4 houses away from her own front door the last time anyone saw her. Like,
Mhm.
literally, that's where she rode her bike. Like, there was nothing unsafe about where she was.
Did you see the neighborhood that they lived in, like, when
Yeah,
they were houses that were just right next like, every normal, everyday
yeah.
houses. 4 houses away is gotta be like,
20
I
steps?
don't fucking know, man. I don't do that kinda stuff. I don't do that kinda math. It's just one of those things where 4 houses is like you could yell to your front porch. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a place that's
It's so
unsafe.
close. The pictures that I saw, it reminded me a lot of, like, where we grew up in Chicago, where
Yeah.
if you walk in between the houses, you can touch each house
Touch the
with your
houses.
arms, right?
Right. Right.
If you were on your porch, you could have
Mhm.
a conversation with a neighbor 4 houses
Yeah.
away,
Yes!
and they could hear you.
I think that might be my biggest problem when they keep pointing out that the houses it was 8 houses away, 4 houses away. If you're taking 4 houses from your front porch, you're close enough to run ho like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it
Yeah.
just seems even more icky.
I agree.
Um, so at the time, her mother, Diana, was at home. She was napping with her toddler, Angie's younger brother. The bus dropped them off between 2:50 and 3.
Mhm.
Ron usually gets home around 5, and it was at that point that he noticed, that her backpack wasn't there. So
Mm,
they start looking for Angie, and around 6 p.m., they see a police car, and they flag that car down and tell them that Angie is missing.
mm.
The police went into action immediately, so it wasn't like, in the '80s, we're like, "Oh, she probably ran away." We were they were doing better at this point.
Yeah.
Um, the really tragic thing is that at this point at 6 o'clock, she'd been missing for 3 hours.
And what did
So
you learn with missing Morgan when they abduct a child? How many minutes
8 minutes.
and terrible things are happening?
8
It's
minutes.
so it's an
A
awful thing to know.
stranger it's a stranger abduction. Sometimes, not always, but when a child is taken by a sexual predator, within 8 minutes, they are trying to find somewhere to go with this child to do what they want to do. So,
Mm,
at this point, Andrew's gone 3 hours. This gave this person,
a lot of
monster,
time.
a lot of
Yeah.
time. Um, and we also wanna keep in mind at this point, the Amber Alert was not in place. The Amber Alert was created in 1996, which is, again, a horrible story, but so there's nothing in place at this time for them
Mhm.
to do other than look. We have
Mhm.
communities that we can, go to. We have posters, we have the police looking, but we don't have
You know what's
nationwide
crazy?
stuff. Tell me.
The Amber Alert, I guess I didn't realize this, was put into place in 1996.
Mhm.
Do you remember episodes ago I told you about how Victor walked out the front door when he was a baby? I
I
call
do.
him a baby. He's
Yep.
probably like 3
Mhm.
or 4,
Yep.
and went to Mrs. Garcia's house, I think.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think that was before the Amber Alert because he was born in '93.
Yeah.
Like, there would have been no Amber Alert if anything insidious actually happened and he hadn't just walked out the door.
Oh my god, I don't wanna say anything ugly, but did you know that there
What?
has to be criteria for the Amber Alert to be put into place?
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
I think that there has to be, like, and then it makes sense, and I'm not saying anything, leave me alone, but, like, did you see somebody with her? Was there a car?
Oh.
Was there that like, there you have to have information to give them. If there's just
Mhm.
nothing, they don't always have
There
enough to
is
go
no
out.
alert.
Right.
I gotcha.
So, I have heard of a not a lot,
Mhm.
but an occasional case where a parent was like, "We wanted to issue an Amber Alert," and they said, "No, there wasn't enough information."
Oh, no. Okay.
Um so at this point, they didn't
They
have
had
that
the
to work off of.
yeah.
And now it's gonna be nighttime, and Angie is still missing. So
Um, a day goes by, so overnight, she's been missing overnight, and now they're starting to get more concerned
Mhm,
because they can't even, like, suppose maybe she went to her friend's house and they don't and she, didn't wanna
mhm.
come home or whatever the case like, they can't even think that it could be something benign because she wouldn't have stayed out all night.
No. And I mean, and as a mom, you go back to that nighttime thing. For me, that's the triggering thing.
Yeah,
When it's dark out and that child that you normally put to bed isn't in the bed that they should be in,
yeah.
that's I've heard parents talk, they're like, I didn't know if I would get through that first night." And
Oof.
I totally can get with that because you can't. You just stare at that empty bed, not knowing if they're safe, not knowing if they're cold or hungry or
Hungry,
crying.
yeah. I know, it's awful.
Okay.
So, there is an FBI field office in St. Louis, Missouri, and the police decide to get them involved. I don't know I don't know off the top of my head, like, what has to happen in order for the FBI to be interested, like, what were they like, how
I
did they
think
get
if it's a
invited?
kid I think
If it's a kid?
if
Okay.
it's a kid kidnapping, like, I think if there's a kid kidnapping or kid missing,
Mhm.
the FBI gets
That's it.
involved.
Okay.
I hope. I
It's
hope.
only a 15-minute drive from the field office to this
Mhm,
neighborhood. So the
mhm.
FBI joins the investigation that Friday. We're reminded there's a rule of thirds.
Thirds.
A
Mhm.
third are located and returned home. A third are unfortunately found deceased. And a third are never found at all.
So you gotta think as an FBI person, does that enter your brain the second you hear of a missing child?
I don't know. I don't
Because
know.
if that's the if every time a child goes missing, you think
Which
1 out of
third?
right.
Yeah.
I literally would be quitting my job the very next day.
Yeah.
Mhm. Bye.
The FBI that in that state, in all the cases that they worked, they only had received 2 ransom calls,
Mhm.
and I'm sure a lot more kids went missing, so, like, ratio-wise, they're like, "It doesn't look good that we haven't heard anything."
So, I popped in here with a little swing back to a case that we had talked about earlier. This happened in
93.
1993.
Yeah.
And so they were saying that ransoms were not all that common. But
Mhm.
just 3 years later in
Mhm.
1996, when John Bonet was allegedly kidnapped,
Mhm.
we all attacked because the Ramseys weren't acting like people should act when their kid is kidnapped. But again, they're saying just 3 years before that, it wasn't that common. So again,
Yeah.
how are we supposed to fucking act?
I
How is
know.
it what are you acting as?
You know what I think?
I think you should tell me.
I think that people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about shouldn't be allowed to have an opinion about how you should act. And if you want to know how people commonly react in those
Mhm,
situations, how about
mhm.
if we ask a crisis counselor who
Oh,
maybe knows what the hell he or she is talking about and has
mhm.
actual experience?
She's not talking to you, our beautiful listeners who we love
No,
so much. She's
no.
talking to the other people.
The other people.
Those
You
guys.
you know who they are.
Those guys. Okay.
Anyway,
Alright.
so Angie's stepfather was in the picture since she was a toddler.
Mhm.
So he raised this little girl.
Mhm.
He spoke of her like she was his own, like he was a proud father.
Mhm.
But of course, as you
A
should,
as
the
it
family was
happens.
looked at strongly because he wasn't her biological father. And for all intents and purposes, they were ruled out fairly quickly.
Well, I think everyone is looked at because in 90% of the cases, it is the
Yeah.
parents.
It's
So
so
it
it's
makes
so
it
alarming and terrifying, but
yeah.
the random stranger thing is so freaking rare. So it's like getting bit by a shark.
I
It's so
want
rare.
you to know when I listen to FBI Retired Case Files, that podcast, and
Mhm.
they're like, "Let me try and make you feel better," and I feel like they were talking to me, but they weren't. Stranger abductions are such a small, small percentage, and they're like, "You should feel better knowing that it is so very rare," but for me, I'm like, "No, that's not good enough. It has
Yeah,
to be none at all for
I
me to
know.
feel better. None at all."
I mean, I'm glad that, like, I don't know, brain tumors are pretty rare, but I'm still worried I might get one day, right?
Heard.
Just saying.
Okay.
Anyway.
So, yeah, so I think that they look at the family because so many times it is the family, and that would be, I guess, an easier case to solve. So, um,
Mhm.
there was another little girl just days before Angie was attempted or before Angie was taken, who there was an attempted abduction, and this was November 8th in Maryland Heights, just
Mm.
4 miles from Angie's house.
Oh, shit.
So they were looking for a, like, 200-ish pounds heavy man with a
Mhm.
mustache,
Mhm.
driving a white van. What do we see about
Another
fucking
fucking white
vans?
vans, goddamn
Do you know what my
vans.
sister told me, guys? My sister told me that she didn't know that a van is called a mobile murder unit. The girls in the salon used to make fun of me all the time. They're like, "Lisa, what do you call vans?" And I'm like, "It's a mobile murder unit."
Okay, so what
Because
happened
you
was what happened was
Mhm.
I put on Copycat
Mm.
with Queen Sigourney fucking Weaver from back in the
Mm-mm.
day, and in the very first
And
minutes
Holly
of
Hunter.
this
Holly
and
Hunter's
Holly
so
oh my
amazing.
god, it's
Oh
so
god, she's
amazing.
so fucking amazing.
I love it.
Mm.
So in the very first minutes of this movie, if y'all choose to watch it, and you
You
should if
should.
you have not,
You should.
Harry Connick looks like a crazy man, but he's amazing. So he does
Creds.
a really good job.
He did great.
Anyway,
He did great.
she's signing her book because she's like a psychologist profiler type doctor
Yeah,
situation, right?
yeah.
So she's signing her book for one of the people that's at the conference to see her speak.
Mhm.
She hands the girl the book and she says, "Don't park next to vans." And I don't know why I did not remember or realize I lost my
Girl,
shit. I called my sister. I was like, "Did you know?" And she's like, yeah.
duh. Yeah, duh.
Stupid.
You don't they're all of the murdering is happening, and they're moving everywhere while they do it. There's just murder and moving and all the room, and they put paneling, and there's no windows, and you can't
Mhm.
see in it, and you can't see out of it,
Mhm.
and it's probably covered in plywood pieces and
Yes.
chains and stains everywhere.
This was her
Everywhere there's
nightmare last night.
stains
That was her
and
night.
dirty
Yeah.
tools.
Okay. Okay. So,
Okay, now we're back
nothing
to
came from them looking for this white van and
no.
this man who attempted to abduct another child a
Mhm,
few days prior.
mhm,
So, now we're at a week missing. It's
mhm,
Thanksgiving. She's been gone a week. There was a party happening at a neighboring house. A 13-year-old boy
mhm,
says that he had a dream that they
mhm.
would find her in the bush wildlife
So the preserve
area?
that they found her was, like, the Bush Wildlife Preserve, like,
Okay.
I think, like, Bush beer, and it was,
Okay.
like, the
I
Bush.
think Anheuser-Busch is a real big deal in St. Louis. I think that's where their headquarters
There it
are.
is.
There's a
There it is.
stadium, I think.
So that's
Yeah.
where they found her, and we're gonna circle back to this later if my sister remembers to tell me why it becomes important
I think that's wild that he had a
when
little premonition.
when
That's
they
wild.
well,
Wild.
sometimes you just what is it? What is it? I don't wanna say psychic, I'm not a weirdo, but, like, what
No, it
is it?
feels, yeah, like a
Like,
sixth sense kind of a
is it a dream? Like,
situation.
dreams are freaky, guys.
Let me tell you.
Oh my god.
Mm.
Ugh.
Okay.
Alright.
So, St. Charles, Missouri is
Mhm.
the name of the town. Saturday, November 27th, just after Thanksgiving, a deer hunter in the woods finds a body and the person is deceased and she's tied or handcuffed to a
Mhm.
tree.
Mhm.
He calls the police because everybody knows at this point we're looking for Angie.
Mhm.
Detective Ed Copeland responds to the call and he says, I didn't know 100%, but we knew of the case and I knew it was a child.
Mhm.
So he was worried. He gets there, there's no other children missing that he's aware of, no reports. He gets there, St. Charles is like a neighboring county, so it wasn't where
Mhm.
she went missing from.
Right.
Um, and unfortunately, he had a really bad feeling that he knew exactly who they had found.
So now here's where I there the person that the hunter, he went back and found the forest preserve ranger guy, right? Like there's a ranger guy there who was there beforehand. And I only bring this up because as we get through the story and keep talking, he's
Mhm.
important because he patrols that area on a regular basis.
Mm.
So it's if it's a forest preserve,
Mhm.
do they have
Yeah,
forest preserve police? Is that what
they
they're called?
do. They do
Okay.
actually. I don't know if they call them rangers, but like in
Yeah.
Illinois, there's yeah,
A
and
ranger.
they literally, like, have just like you make your rounds, like, they have
You
to
make your
roll through the
rounds.
area at night, they have to close the
Mhm.
gates that are, no one
So
past this point at dusk, that sort of thing.
I think he was the one that was there first and then called the detective. And like I said, it's
Oh.
not like it was like sketchy or anything, but I do know from some interviews that I heard, these
Mhm.
men, to say that they were affected to this day is an understatement. Like to
Yeah.
hear them talk, this is
Yeah.
not something, and I do believe that Detective Ed Copeland worked this case d like, to the bitter end. Like, this
Yeah.
wasn't something where people are like, "Oh, it was a cold case." I don't think they
Mm-mm.
ever referred to this as a cold case
No, I don't think he
because
ever
it was
stopped working
worked.
it. 15 years later,
I
when this all comes
know.
to fruition, like, he worked it the whole time.
So, there was some light snowfall recently, and the officers were able to see the footprints of the hunter. I said the hunter man, the hunter
The hunter
person.
man. Mhm.
Um, it was described as a heavily wooded area. Angie was found on the ground, and it had been noted that had she been standing, so very heavily wooded, but brushy kind of, because
Yeah.
they kept saying if she had been standing or even sitting very upright, there is a chance as close as she was to the road. She
She
was
was
only 30
close.
yards from the road.
Mhm.
I think it was tree line road.
Mhm.
Um, had she been up or standing, she might have been found prior to the evening that she had passed. So
Yeah, the
I
weather. Mhm.
I don't like I mean, all of this just gets worse. We'll get a disclaimer. We're about to talk about some nasty shit. It's terrible. So if you need
Jump
to jump
ahead if you
ahead, or
want.
if you don't want to just listen to this anymore, bros, I get it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll I don't know.
So she was tied to a tree,
Mhm.
hands handcuffed behind her back. It reminded me a lot visually of, like, that movie with Morgan Freeman, Miss the Girls, Ashley
Kiss the
Judd.
girls.
Kiss the Girls, there it is.
When you
You know what
said
I
that, I'm
mean.
like, "What is she doing, Mr. Gir" like, "Girl, I'm judging you right now."
She was tied to the tree with a pair of jeans, but she
Mhm.
herself had no clothes on.
Right.
And as they say, it was wickedly cold
It
that
had
night.
gotten below freezing that night.
She had duct tape on her eyes and her mouth. Her clothing was found near her in a plastic bag from the Dollar General
Mhm.
store, and her backpack was found near that. There were signs that she had struggled to free herself, so she was alive when she was placed there. There were foot scuffs in the dirt and the snow where you could like, where she had
Mhm.
pushed
Mhm.
around trying to stand up, um, and the handcuffs were bloodied, like she was struggling to pull her hands out of them.
So, when you mentioned the jeans, they were like, they used the jeans to tie her to the tree. And
Mm.
I know that there was some talk of this, like, would this have been enough to keep her handcuffed? Because it's some reports I read that it was one arm that was handcuffed to the jeans to the tree.
Oh, geez.
And I think and the handcuffs were like novelty handcuffs. They weren't kids handcuffs, but they were like adult type handcuffs.
Yeah, they were
Um,
metal, I know
right.
that.
They were
Mhm,
covered in her blood.
mhm.
There the detectives had speculated that if she was in better shape, she might have been able to stand up. So
Because remember, people, she had been missing for 9
9
days at this
days.
point. If
9
she hadn't been
days.
fed, if she hadn't gotten
She was
water, she was weak. It's a miracle she was able to struggle as much as she was struggling because she was so weak.
there she was deprived of food and water. She was not cared for. She there were
Mm.
they noted this later. There were lacerations, deep lacerations on her arms, sorry, her right and her left wrist and her left leg, and there was duct tape over the wrists, almost like they were trying to slow the bleeding. It's one of those things where there did this person intended for her not to survive, but it's almost like they didn't wanna actually like, "So I'm just gonna tie her up and leave her." Motherfucker.
I
It's
know.
it's a very
I'm telling
upsetting
you. Do you wanna
situation what
know
we're
what would
talking about right
be
now.
do you wanna know what would be a fitting punishment for some of these predators when we find them? Everyone
Well,
says, like, put them in prison
nope.
and, let Bubba be their friend or
Mm-mm.
something like that. You just let a parent with a child go in there and treat these men the way that they treated that little child. Because any parent, man or woman, is gonna be like a mama papa bear and will rip them limb from limb.
Okay, hang on. I'm typing because I'll tell you what aha! Do you know what a
Aha.
good punishment would be? If we have
What?
any listeners who watched Vikings,
Ooh.
blood eagle them.
What the blood Oh, jeez. I'll Google it. You don't have to describe it.
Okay. Anybody who's listening, they're cheering for me right now, and I'm gonna advocate to bring it back. Yes, it was from the Vikings. I don't know if it was true. I don't know if it was made up. Sexual predators who hurt and rape our children, blood eagle them. You heard it here first.
I'm Googling it.
Good. Um, so as they say that if she had been left in better health,
Oh my god, Lisa.
yep, you're welcome.
Oh
She
my
could have,
god. Yeah, it's
she,
fitting. That's fitting.
thank you.
Okay.
She might have been able to stand up. It is also noted that she had been violently raped for days.
Mm,
Um, and why is this a detail that I need to repeat? And it is because this is where, unfortunately, this wasn't the first time this person, man,
mhm,
monster had done this.
mhm.
So why was he in a position to have done it again?
To be able to do it
To be
again.
able to
Yep.
do this again? So I want you to look at the 9-year-olds around you. I want you to look at them real hard and imagine 9 days in captivity, being tortured without their mama, without their daddy, in a place they don't know, scared, cold, alone. Their brains can't comprehend this, and I say this is especially hard. It's not like I think the death of a child or torture is better or less worse than an adult, but as an adult, if this is being done to me,
Mhm,
there's some kind of compartmentalizing that can happen, right?
mhm,
Detachment, you're
mhm.
like the sick fuck, you get angry, you get the kids can't do that.
They don't understand
They
any of
just
it.
hurt and they're scared. So
Mhm.
a very special place in hell should be reserved for these people. Blood
Yep.
eagle. Um and that's why we are talking about this case. So we'll talk about it again later. We can do better. We have an
Mhm,
obligation to do better.
mhm.
As Aubrey does. So Angie was found near Tree Line Road in Bush Wildlife Park. The park ranger police mentioned that this road is popular for hunters to be on, and it is patrolled on a regular basis. And we say this because, again, they know that she was placed there recently because if she had been there earlier, she would have been found earlier.
Mhm.
So I just want to mention that with that little note there. And I'm like,
They found her another bag with her school books in it, and her name was in it. So even before they officially identified her, they found everything, you know,
God.
unofficially to know that that's who that was. Um, the coroner did their or the medical examiner, whoever did their examination, they said that her part of her underwear was stuffed in her mouth, then her mouth was duct taped. And there was, as Lisa told you, there was evidence of sexual assaults, but she died from the cold. They just left her out there.
That offends me.
I
It
know.
offends me that anyone would list
Just
her
left
cause of
her.
death as hypothermia. No, that's what I'm offended by. She was raped. She was dehydrated. She was starved. She was tortured. That's why she died.
Mm,
Yes, she was left out in the cold, but I'm sorry, that is not. I feel like that's a great big giant disservice to the bigger picture to say that
mm.
her cause of death was hypothermia. And I could be wrong, and I'm okay with that. I am 100 fucking percent okay with that. I love being wrong because then I have a chance to learn from it. Right now, meh. Okay, I don't want to say the rest because we've already mentioned it that she was placed in the woods and that there was some freezing rain and so this is why they think that she had been there very recently placed there.
So, unfortunately, in 1993, with what
Mhm.
techniques they had available to them, what science was available back then,
Mhm.
there was no biological evidence recovered from her exam. The first clue, the big thing that they hung on to in 93 was there were fingerprints, partial fingerprints on the adhesive side of the duct tape. They weren't good enough to be put into like the national database AFIS situation,
Mhm.
but the police were confident that if they ever found a suspect, they could be compared, like manually compared from one to the next.
Can Okay, so I wanna also say here that the police noted that they had found her with handcuffs on. So for me, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, that's not actually as common as you think."
Oh.
Well, so there's one reason though, because she was left alive. Most people that are deceased are already not
You don't have
gonna
to
go
leave them
anywhere.
bound, right? They're
Right.
not gonna try to escape.
Um,
Okay.
and then so they said this isn't as common as you might think. And then also here's what I'm wondering. In oh, the 1993. Have you ever used duct tape, sis?
Yeah,
I use that shit for everything.
everything.
I rip it with my mouth
Yeah,
all the time. I rip
yeah,
all kinds of stuff with my mouth.
yes.
So like wouldn't and I think in 1993, wouldn't a predator have not known that there was that kind of DNA? Like,
The
couldn't there have
police didn't
been?
the police didn't even have the technology for recovering, like, cells off of tape or clothing
Oh,
or
okay.
something like that. Like, okay, I'm gonna get really
When did that
gross, but,
happen?
like, or 2000s, like,
No.
somewhere around 2010-ish, maybe?
No,
It wasn't
sis.
in the 90s.
No.
So, like, if there was okay, if you were assaulted and
Yep.
there was wet stuff left on or in you,
Girl, you can
that
say it.
okay, if there was saliva
Sperm.
or semen that they could, like, swab
Mhm.
and it was still
Wet.
wet,
Mhm.
right? So it could be
Mhm.
they could do that. They could get some stuff out of there. But the whole, like, cells, something dried up, something old, something
Mhm. Mhm.
touch DNA, that didn't exist.
Well, I
That
know
wasn't
touch
possible.
DNA touch DNA and that whole mitochondrial thing was, like,
Mhm,
new, but, like,
mhm.
I feel like
I think it was more the technique to be able to collect it
and
is
okay,
what was lacking.
fair, fair.
But the
Okay.
the detectives all knew because we keep hearing this over and over
Yeah,
again. They
they
all knew
safe.
that
It was coming.
eventually it was gonna happen, so
It
they're
was
like, "I'm
coming.
just gonna put this in this little
Put this right
box,
here.
and we're gonna
Mhm.
revisit you when the
I know.
technology is there."
Boom.
So
Refrigerator, here I come. Alright, I think
so,
you're up.
police, neighboring town police, FBI, everybody was involved at this
Everybody.
point. And then this is where I put in that there was a girl who was abducted a few days before Angie. All right, here's the thing.
Okay,
They
go.
know about this story. They know that the child was able to give the police a description. Then
Mhm.
they say, in quotes,
Mhm.
he was out of the state when Angie was taken, so it wasn't the same guy. hold the fuck up. 2 predators
Mhm.
within 4 miles of each other is what you're telling
Mhm.
me. You catch one, the victim identifies this fucktard, and you let him go? And he gets to leave the state?
So here's
Help
okay.
me. Help
Here's
me.
here's what I'm gonna say. No, I'm not gonna justify anything. I think as we're going through this with our own new eyes, I don't think I realized that this child almost abduction
Mhm,
is one that I did not know about, sis,
mhm.
because I know of other ones. Now, here's what I'm also going to say. At one point, they had said that somebody identified a man with possibly another man. So if you're saying that he's out of the state, maybe there's two of them, maybe they're working to motherfucking gether. It's I'm
We
just
got
saying
problems.
we
I'm
yes.
starting to think that we should eliminate men from the race.
Okay, hold on. God
Just
damn it.
you know what? It's good. We're good.
All of
We're
my
good.
friends with little baby boys, she didn't mean what she just said.
I have a baby boy.
You have a baby boy who's not a baby boy anymore.
I'm just saying.
Sometimes we don't come down on men like we should, okay? Sometimes the men they're given a little bit. Listen, if I was a man, my uterus would be gone right now. I wouldn't have to beg my doctor to help me with fucking hormone replacement therapy. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's right.
I'm trying to tie in what you said to make it like nicer.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I
Okay.
mean, I'll just keep it mean. I don't care.
She sure did. That's why we love my sister because she's a Gemini. She's like sweet
That was the
and
other one talking.
spicy right at the same time.
I
She's
was like, "Don't blink. Don't blink. You'll get the other one."
what is that sauce? Asian zing. That's what you are.
There it is.
You're Asian zing sauce
There it
because it's
is.
so sweet sometimes, but then sometimes you're like, "Oh, I made this one a little spicy today." I don't
That's
hate it, but
awesome.
it's a little bit. Okay.
All right. So you said there's another disappearance
Okay.
in Cassidy?
So I was confusing yours for on December 1st,
Mhm.
very near to
Mhm.
where Angie Housman was,
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
young woman, a young girl, a
Mm.
baby, 10
A
years
baby.
old.
Yeah.
Cassidy Center she got home from school. She dropped off her book bag and went back out to visit her friend, and she never arrived. Her
Mm.
mom called the friend's house, and a friend said, "Hey, man, she didn't get here." They start searching for her. 9 days later, we know 9 is an important number, right?
What is
They
happening?
find her body. So she
Mhm.
did not make it out. I'm like, that's why I was like, what was she talking about? Because this is what I'm talking about.
Oh, no.
They found her on December 9th, 9 days later. We don't know if it was because of what happened to Angie, but she had one of those little personal alarms on her that
Mhm.
was thrown in a neighbor's yard, but not
Mm.
with her, but it was activated.
Hmm.
So this is the one that I thought you were talking about.
No,
And
because that
okay.
little girl lived, and she was able to identify or give them a sketch.
Okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit more about young Cassie, because there's also another one. Now this one, her name is Amy Vaughn. She was 20 and she was working and got off work and was abducted and sexually assaulted, also in the same area. So now,
What the fuck?
what the fuck? Missouri is on fucking high alert right now, bro.
What the fuck?
It was happening to the
Did they
point where
just empty out the jail or something?
I don't know, but they said police, there was a task force, there was all kinds of shit that was going on. People were losing their fucking minds, rightfully so.
Yeah.
There was a composite sketch released in December along with a profile. So they were looking for a murder or murderers
Mhm.
they thought was an intelligent white male between the ages of 20 and 45
Okay.
that had recently started living alone and had more than one vehicle. And I think this is because of what they had witnessed and what other people had said.
Okay.
And they think that he may have experienced a recent stressor and doesn't get along well with women. So, knowing what we know,
Mm.
does this line up or does this hurt them? because what we know is that the leads start flowing in, and they had just over 500 suspects at this point.
Good Lord.
Mhm. So, following these tips, on
Mhm.
December 17th, there was a man in Texas who matched the composite sketch and had a partial plate, and he was picked up by police. They
Mhm.
talked to him, and he admitted that he was in the area. His name was Gary Stuffleby.
Sure it was.
Po
First of all, who
police
names a baby Gary? You
little baby
can't have a little
Gary.
baby Gary.
My friend Raina's married to Gary. I always call
Who
him Fairy,
wants to
by
call a
mistake.
baby Gary?
My text messages always go wrong, and I'm always, like, texting, and it says Fairy, and she giggles so hard. That's Raina's husband, and she's like, "Why do you always call him Fairy?" And I'm like, "It's autocorrect, god damn
Autocorrect.
it." Gary's great, though. We fucking love Gary. Um, so little Gary Stuffleby, nope, nope,
Big Gary Stuffleby.
motherfucker Gary Stuffleby.
Yeah.
They convinced him that he was gonna be convicted for these murders. They're like, "We got you, bro. You are fucking going down." So what had happened is he confessed
Okay.
to the abduction of Amy Vaughn, but was like, "I
Okay.
did not have anything to do with Angie and Cassidy's murders."
Oh,
So
jeez.
they're trying these things to try and get confessions and to try and catch people. And again, they
Mhm.
have so many suspects. So this is going to take care of one of those instances where we're like, okay, this is too many things happening in Missouri. So now they have somebody lined up, and now we're back to February 3rd. There is an arrest made for Cassidy's murder.
Mm.
This was Thomas Brooks.
Mhm.
There was a tip that came in that he had lived in the same neighborhood as Cassidy.
Mhm.
He abducted her with the intentions to rape her, but she fought back, and so he said he had no choice but to beat her to death.
Motherfucker.
He did say that she activated her little alarm and that he took it off her and threw it in the yard. So the
Mm.
neighbor heard the alarm going off and just ignored it, but whatever. At the time, Brooks was living with his sister. They were in an apartment, and there was also a third roommate. And what they think is that young Cassie mistakenly knocked on the wrong door when she went to go visit her friend.
Oh, no.
These tips that are coming in, they're helping them catch and solve other crimes. So that's why I'm mentioning them today. There were
Mhm.
3 people living in that apartment. The tip that was called in was reliable. That's how they ended up finding him. And this
Mm.
tip also indicated that the sister and the friend that were living there were aware that Cassidy's body was in that apartment for hours before he moved it and never called the police.
No.
Blood eagle.
Shame, shame, shame.
Mm-mm. Blood eagle.
No.
Yep.
We're
Even
gonna
for
put
them.
that on it. We're gonna put that on a t-shirt, you know that,
I don't
right?
know if we could because it's Vikings.
I
Did
think
you
we
watch
can.
Vikings?
No, but I want
Oh,
to now.
oh, oh, God.
Just saying.
All I can say is thank you. Okay.
Okay.
To all those men, thank you.
Mhm.
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 So, oh God, look at how I get ugly right in the middle of all this.
Yep.
So now, though, we do have somebody who has been arrested for the murder of Cassidy.
Mhm.
So now, and I don't want to say this like, oh, we got that one taken care of, we got that one taken care of, but it
We're
does
ruling
start.
people out
We're ruling
for
people
her.
out for her.
Yeah.
Um, and they released a different sketch, and this one is of a heavy man
Mhm.
um, that is a little older, 38 to 45, wavy brown hair, and Caucasian, who's driving a blue car, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, everything as they say goes cold.
Mhm.
They're exhausting all their leads. They're not getting anywhere, and the years roll by. So 8 years, nothing that pans out. Then an inmate named Corey Flynn Fox. Corey Lynn Fox.
Lynn.
Lynn,
Lynn.
pardon
Tell me
me,
he's not pissed about that.
Gary.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, no.
talks to the authorities and he's just spilling. Corey's in prison for another murder.
Mhm.
He claims he was taken to his friend Virgil's house and Virgil was the supposed mastermind, and they kept her for 3 days, is what he tells the police.
Mhm.
He described her books, he described her little underpants, and apparently the original plan was to do a ransom,
Mhm.
but they didn't, and they ultimately just left her in the woods. Like, he knows some stuff, so they're giving him airtime,
Mhm.
but it's not, they're like, "Is he telling us the truth?" Right?
So he was one of those
So
guys, right, who was just trying to be I got nothing better on my nothing but
yes.
yeah, okay.
So the more they question him, the more discrepancies they find. Eventually, they realize that the things that he knows are things that he could have found out by just reading articles and whatnot. That
Mhm.
he didn't know anything that no one else knew. One of the things he said was the handcuffs were plastic. They were toys,
Mhm.
and they weren't. They were metal handcuffs. They might not
Mhm.
have been like the real deal.
Right, right, right.
He described her clothing wrong, and they eventually figure out that he's just looking for attention.
Mhm.
He's serially confessing to crimes because he's a fucking loser and he's stuck there and he just wants to like have attention and be
Yeah.
important somehow.
Yeah, he's just trying to get a different dinner for dinner or some cigarettes or something.
Yeah. Everyone was so like all the police officers and people that were interviewed were just like, he wasted so much of our fucking time. So much of our time.
Blood eagle.
There it
Okay.
is.
So I'm just gonna
So,
say, bring it back. It is so all I was just gonna say is that, yes, this guy deserves a special place in fucking hell. And you know who's hell? That TikTok that you sent me of the guy
do you love
who
that?
oh my god, I'm so watching it. Can you find it so we can give him some
That's
cred?
oh yeah, no, that's Mr. Williams.
Oh,
Pre-K pause.
wait,
Pre-K pause.
is
He's
that
a pre-K teacher.
stop.
He's awesome. Mr.
Okay, so
Williams.
hang on, I don't wanna do this. It's Ted Williams, guys. So he's a devil, and it's hysterical, but so, yes, I think this guy should
He's
go to
got a
his
couple
hell,
of them. Yes, yes.
right to
I
his
love
hell.
I love the name drops where he's, like, talking
Mhm,
and then he goes, "Oh,
mhm.
Jeffrey," and then he's like,
Oh,
"Oh,
yeah,
hi.
he's
Oh,
so
yeah, that's Jeffrey Dahmer."
I and this I think it maybe that this guy was upset, I don't know, that his name was Lynn in the middle, and he probably got beat up a lot in prison over
Maybe
it, and
so.
they're like, "What's Lynn all about?" And he's like, "Well, I was named after my grandma, but he's, like, a boy, so they got mad at him." It's
Do you
just
wanna know
jailhouse
who
cred.
yeah. Do you
Right.
wanna know who didn't get mad
My
and waste
ass is
people's
so
time?
sore.
Sorry. And, um claim credit for things that they didn't do and who didn't waste people's time and who wasn't a fucking douchebag. Do you want to know who?
Who?
What is Chandler Bing's middle name?
Marion.
Muriel.
Fuck.
You were close.
Fuck.
But Chandler didn't do any weird shit. Chandler was fucking awesome and he had a weird middle name too. So I don't want to hear it,
Marion.
Lynn.
Yeah,
Fucking
Lynn,
Lynn. Yeah,
bitch.
Lynn.
You
Dickhead.
punk ass bitch.
More
Blood
years
eagle
go
you.
by.
Okay.
Blood eagle. Um, the detective that's working the case, Detective Copeland, he's looking everywhere. He's looking all
Mhm.
over the place at cases that are similar, close by, like all the things, and he's not finding anything.
Mhm.
So, as good detectives do,
Mhm.
he went back to the beginning.
Go back to
Let's
that
start
beginning.
over.
Start
Let's
right
start
over.
over.
That's what they need to do with JonBenet. They need to stop and scrub it and go back to the fucking
I'm
beginning.
Lisa, I said this.
Sister.
They need to get a couple of Gen Z
Yeah.
detectives who weren't alive when all this went down,
Mm.
who don't even know what the case is, to just look at that shit from the get-go and not be colored by anything. They'll
Mhm.
solve it.
They'll solve
They'll
it.
fucking solve it in a heartbeat. Damn
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Anyway,
Good.
they go back to the beginning and they
Mhm.
come across Roger Martin.
Mhm.
This guy was parked on the road to where the police were going down the road to find her.
Uh-huh.
On that road.
Uh-huh.
They say there's no reason in the world that he should have been there. There's
Oh.
nothing there. It's literally nothing there.
I'm raising my hand.
Go.
This is where I was talking about the OG park ranger. because he specifically said in an interview, his words that I'm paraphrasing because I don't do quotes well. He was on those roads on a regular basis because he said this was a very popular place for the hunters. And also, it was a popular place for people to go commit suicide. And he said
No.
that he would find people. I mean, I guess if you want to find a pretty spot to like say your goodbyes. But he said, he's like, we
Wow.
would see cars. So I knew, from time to time we have somebody that commits them. So now could this be why that guy was there? Or am I
So they don't know why he was there the day
okay?
of, but they
Wait,
know that he was there, and then they know that when he was initially interviewed,
so this
he
wasn't
said
the
he was
hunter that found her.
no,
No. Okay.
no. He
No.
said he was there hunting, and in reviewing the original interview later on,
Mhm.
he said he was there hunting, but he
Mhm.
had no hunting weapon. He had no gun, he had no bow, he had no hunting paraphernalia. So how
Oh
are you hunting anything?
God, that finger.
You like that? All right.
Just hit your microphone. But can I play my other side? Like I
Yeah.
and I'm gonna tell you right now, it's
Swing
really
that
fucking
door. Go
no,
ahead, swing it. Swing it.
it's really fucking hard for me
Swing
to do
it.
that in this episode. So I just want to tell you how level-headed I'm actually being. Mightn't this have been him scouring? No, what is it called? Scoping? What do
Oh,
hunters
yes.
do?
Oh no, it gets better. It
He
gets better.
is scaping. He's scoping.
Scoping it out.
Mm.
Okay,
Exploratory for future hunting endeavors.
maybe so. So
Okay,
listen,
go.
they run his name.
Run it.
He has a history of sexual assault
God damn
crimes
it.
related to children.
Oh, God. Blood eagle.
Blood
Fucking
eagle. Blood
blood
it.
eagle.
Blood it.
Oh, my
Blood
God.
'em.
I wish
Blood
that
'em
we had
all.
the copyright
Blood it.
on that.
TM.
Fucking blood eagle, that motherfucker. No, we
All
can't.
right.
Damn it. It's fucking Vikings, bro.
One of his victims survived, thankfully, was re-interviewed, and she said she was brought to that road. So yes, he was scoping
No,
it. He was scoping
baby.
it. The same fucking road, and they called it Middle School Road.
Oh.
So in 2008, they sit down with Roger Martin.
Mm-hmm.
He claims he was at work the day she went missing. The records say he was not at work.
This
He
is the
would
girl who not Angie. This is
survive.
the okay.
No,
Yes.
Angie. Yeah.
Okay.
He says he was at work. The records show he was not at work, that he had called in sick. They
Mm-hmm.
confront him about the other sexual assault victims and being on the same road. Hey, that looks a little sus, all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
He keeps turning her picture over. Like they're showing him Angie's picture. And I don't know if it was a picture of her when she was found or if it was a nice picture, but he's literally freaking the fuck out every time he sees it and he's turning it over. So that makes them think, "Oh, are you a little sad about what you did? Are you don't want to look at it? You have trouble with that?"
Mm-hmm.
So they ask him to do a voice stress test.
I
Interesting.
really want to jump in here and just be like,
Wait,
what? Okay.
the test shows he's not being truthful. I don't
Okay.
know what that means.
I'm
And he
I
would not confess.
okay. I have
But listen, they have no physical evidence to
Mhm.
connect him to the crime, so they have to let him go.
Well, that's because they said voice stress test. What the
What
fuck is
is that?
that?
It's like a lie detector test, but
I
you
think I
like,
would fail a voice stress
Lisa,
test 62
right
times during our
now,
podcast.
right now,
Right
I'm
now, they'd
like
be
up
like,
3
yes,
octaves.
they would be like, did you see how many dots you had? You failed. How many yellows do you have? I had 6 just now.
You're in the red. You're in the red.
I'm almost in the fucking red. So I would fail that test 72 times over. And also, if somebody said they were going to do a voice stress test on me, I'd be like, oh my God. Okay, like, let's go. What is
Let's do
that?
it.
They put
I
a
don't know.
stethoscope in your mouth?
I
What?
have
They
no
tie
idea.
something around your fucking tonsils?
I have no
What does
idea.
that even
Send us an
mean?
email if you know what it is. Send us an email.
Ask your brother.
I'll
Ask your
ask my
brother.
brother. Voice stress
All
test.
right. Now, I'm also going to jump right back on my other fucking pony.
Mhm.
They let him go.
Yeah.
Sis,
They had no physical evidence. They had to let him go.
sis, I don't love stomping all over someone's civil rights. Maybe, just maybe a little bit I do if you're a sexual predator.
But
I
he's
think
a
I would do a
predator.
fair
He
amount of crushing
literally
on your civil rights
he
if you're a sexual predator.
he assaulted that other child. She identified him. She
Split
took
eagle.
them to where he took her. Why is he walking around?
This is what I'm talking about when I say that we need to do better.
All right.
Our children, our future. Teach them well and let them lead. That came right up on the surface. Sorry about all that, guys.
That's pretty bad. Anyway.
And that's it. Okay. In 2016, Angie's mom, Diana, passed away. She lost a battle with cancer. And her sister, did you saw
Yeah.
on the Paula Zahn, on the
Yeah.
case with Paula Zahn, her sister's interviewed throughout that because her mom is no longer with us. Then I shouldn't say that, it's Angie's aunt, so her
Yes.
Diana's sister is interviewed.
Yes. Mhm.
Um, she can't speak a sentence without crying. Like,
I know.
and I feel that, like, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm telling you, I feel everything that she is feeling. It's horrible, and but she says that she lost her, she just wasn't, she had nothing. She was depressed, she was sad, and how could you not?
Yeah.
The circumstances and the fact that everyone was talking about what had happened to her, and I mean, maybe in that sense, it makes us no better.
Mm.
I'm gonna not say what I'm gonna say, I'll save it for later, but we also know another mom that passed away from cancer
Mhm.
after losing their child. So, is that like you just
Well, they just in
you're just
2026.
defeated.
So
Your
in
baby.
2026, there was an article just now
Oh.
saying that the emotional stressors and whatnot that are put upon women
Mhm.
actually do increase our risk for illnesses and cancer. And I was like, I'm sorry, did you not know that?
Right? I'm sorry.
Duh.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
thanks for that. Thanks.
so sadly though, Angie's mom passed away without ever knowing that her daughter had received any justice. So
So this guy they let go, Martin, they go back to the duct tape, right? Because there's
Mhm.
fingerprints. And they said if we ever had a suspect, we could physically compare them.
Mhm.
He wasn't a match.
Mhm.
He's just another fucking asshole predator. But he wasn't that asshole predator.
But he's walking the streets.
Oh, yeah.
He's out
Oh,
there.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Good
Go
job.
ahead. Live out your life, predator.
Members of the
Blood eagle.
community
Blood
members of the community created a Facebook page. Angie's Angels, I think one
eagle.
was called.
Mhm.
There might have been more than one. And they just kept the story alive. Like, they just kept it out there, kept it out there.
So I did jump in here at this point, and I want to quote True Crime Garage because they seemed ever more passionate than they wanted to preface this. So I just want to preface this. There were detectives who never stopped working the case. So it's not
Yeah.
like when you hear that, we're not saying that somebody kept this is the Facebook community doing their part to
Yes.
keep this alive.
Mhm.
It's not to imply that the detectives who took this home with them every single night and worked with multiple agencies, it's not to imply that they did not do their job as well. It's just
Mhm.
simply to say in our humanness, we do what we think we can, just like what we're doing right now.
Mhm.
Do we have a right to tell Angie's story? I don't know. Do I feel like I want to, and so that it's never forgotten? And I don't think that it should be how she's remembered, but I also think that it's incredibly important to know how we failed her
Yeah.
there.
I agree.
So
I
we're
agree.
assuming some blame, and that's all that that is.
So they credit the community keeping the case in the forefront with a new task force eventually being um formed. And
Now.
now
Now.
enter DNA evidence. Now, at
Give me those
last,
DNAs.
there is the technology to test touch DNA. If there were fingerprints, there are skin cells,
Mm,
blah, 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 right?
mm.
In February 2019,
I gave you this.
thank you,
You're welcome.
Brian Cry, senior forensic crime analyst,
Mhm.
notified lead detective Ed Copeland that he had analyzed 2 pieces of the pink fabric found in her mouth, and the duct tape was a bust. The
So,
handcuffs had a
hang on.
lot of her blood on it, so they were a bust.
So I wanted you to say this because you're the forensic person. So
Mm.
I do believe that it was like they had been retesting this evidence and retesting and retesting, and it was
To a
maybe
certain extent, because they don't wanna lose it all.
right.
In
It was
testing it, you
maybe
destroy it.
one of the detectives or one of the forensic people, and I am
Mhm,
very happy that I don't have to know who. I'm gonna give all equal credit, who was like, "Don't test this, test this. Don't test here, test there, because if you're
mhm,
gonna find something, you might find it here."
mhm.
So that's why I wanted you to say that because you had said that the duct tape was a bust.
Yeah, I guess what had happened with the duct tape was that the fingerprints were on the adhesive or sticky side. And as you know, if duct tape is old enough, the adhesive part eventually dries out. And like when you try to rip off old duct tape, it just crumbles
Crumples.
like a
It sure
dust.
does.
So there was nothing that they could subtract from that.
Okay.
They tested, the fabric that was in her mouth, right? Because someone had to tear that off and put it in her mouth,
Mhm.
and unfortunately, that was a no-go. The handcuffs might have had something, but there was so much of her own blood on it that they couldn't
Mhm.
isolate anything but her DNA, so that
Okay.
was a bust. This guy tested over 500 different pieces, parts of every fucking thing they had. And on her underwear, he isolated a male DNA profile. Bingo.
'Cause he's a senior forensic warrior.
Yes.
He's so is he an unsung hero?
Yes.
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 He's doing the good
He's doing the
work.
good work.
He's doing the good work in the lab to try and help
Mhm.
us do better work out here.
So now they
Okay.
have a DNA profile. They put it into the national databases, they put it in CODIS, and they get a hit because the
Mhm.
suspect that it matches is in the system.
Mhm.
His name is Earl Cox.
Mhm.
Mhm.
In 1982, this motherfucker was dishonorably discharged from the Air Force for multiple sex offenses involving 4 juveniles in Germany. He was sentenced and served 8 years at Leavenworth Federal Prison.
2
So,
years per person, that's all they're
here
worth?
well, hang on though. Can I just say this was in 1982. The Air Force dishonorably discharged him. I think I'm gonna give them some credit by forcing him to serve any sentence at all,
Mm.
because you know what? Never mind. I don't wanna say that. Okay, I'm gonna say it. Does the military sometimes just be like, "Scooch this guy out of here. We don't want it." Like, I'm just saying, like,
No, I know they do.
they
They
held him
actually held them
accountable.
accountable. Okay.
And this happened in Germany where they
Okay.
easily could have been like, "Sweep, sweep, sweep," but
Go
they
back
held
to
him
America.
go back to America, and you're not just dishonorably bye-bye discharged. You're gonna serve some fucking time in prison. So,
Mm.
was it great? No. In 1982, was it okay? It was okay that they did okay. They did
Okay.
okay. They didn't
Okay.
do great. They could have done better. They didn't do great.
Mm.
Um, in 1985, he was released and placed on parole. In 1988, and I didn't know you could fucking do this, he transferred his parole to Missouri.
Mm. Don't you
So
remember when Gacy said he
oh,
wanted to go back to Illinois? So Iowa was like, "Oh, sure, you're on parole. Go right ahead. Go
what
back
the
to Illinois." And Illinois
fuck?
is like, "Sure, man, come on over."
No, you're on
Yeah.
parole. You don't get to tell me where you're going. You're gonna stay
Mm-mm.
right fucking here
Uh-huh.
where I can keep a close fucking eye on you.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Do you deserve it? Go right on back to Missouri." Where he goes to the area of Breckenhill Ridge.
Mm.
Just don't quote me.
Breckenridge?
Breckenridge
Breckenridge.
Hill, which
Breckenridge Hill,
was
okay.
about a quarter of a mile from where Angie was abducted.
Huh.
So a quarter of a mile is very, very small,
5-minute walk.
and that's where he was.
Great.
In December of 1992, after a series of parole violations, he was
Model
released
citizen.
from Leavenworth Prison again. So just a year before this, guys, he was doing the parole violations because he can't be trusted because he's a fucking criminal. And they let him out. Now he's
Mm.
back in Missouri. He lived on Dade Avenue in a house that was 3 houses away from the school that Angie attended.
Isn't it illegal for sexual predators to be near a
It
school?
is now. It is
Motherfuck.
now. So we have this fucking creep living 3 houses away from the middle school. And this is where I say we have to do better.
Blood eagle.
Should he have ever been released from prison?
No.
Nay.
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 He should have
They
been
should have
blood
handed
eagled in
him over
Germany.
to Germany. Yes.
Yes!
There it
And
is.
I would have blood eagled him.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So he has a long history of crimes against children, girls in particular. He was in prison for a conviction for child pornography. That's ultimately what they got him for, and why he was in the system when they ran the DNA, child pornography. They go to North Carolina where he's in prison to question him. They tell him they found his DNA on her underpants. He's like, I'm not going to comment on any of that, motherfucker.
So, can I tell you really quick? In the
Mm,
article that I linked to you to link to everyone,
mm,
there was a picture of him at the time, I think, of when he would have abducted her.
mm-hmm.
The second composite sketch that they had
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of matched.
Kind of matched.
Kind of matched. That's all I'm saying.
So they fingerprint him and
Mhm.
compare the fingerprints manually, and it is a positive match. So they have DNA, they have fingerprints.
Mhm.
He's charged with kidnapping and murder in the first degree. They threaten him with the death penalty. They basically tell him, if you don't confess, we will get you in trial, and then you're going to get the death penalty. But if you confess, we'll take the death penalty off the table. So he confesses.
Can I tell you something? I don't love that.
I don't love it either.
Okay, I'm glad we both don't love that. I don't love that. I feel like
They wanted a
convict
conviction.
100%.
Anything could happen. You get into a jury. Like,
100%.
they wanted a sure deal. I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.
I would love somebody in an attorney style fashion, Kristen, to let us know how that feels for you.
Mm.
Like, do you love it? And then maybe if you could explain it, explain it to me so that I understand that the smaller win is better than the blood eagle win. Okay.
So this douchebag says he was randomly there where she got off the bus.
3 houses away
He,
from her school randomly?
yeah,
Okay.
he had some car trouble.
3 houses away from his house?
Yeah.
Mhm.
He says he saw the school bus go by, like, out of the corner of his eye, and then all of a sudden, this little girl just walks up to him and engages him in conversation. And I had to put this in shouty capitals,
You
this
sure did.
motherfucker.
You sure
This
did.
motherfucker. No little girl is going to come up to you and fucking talk to you,
Mm-mm.
okay? You ugly, ugly piece of crap person. Why do they always think or say that, well, the victim approached me? Oh, she was interested in me. Oh, she wanted to talk to me. He really thinks in his twisted, evil fucking brain that Angie wanted to talk to him?
I am
I
gonna
challenge.
I'm a challenge. Oh my
I
god, I have the
challenge him.
saddest news. Katie doesn't work with me anymore. She's not
That's
my
okay,
friend
she still
Katie at work.
listens.
She's just my friend Katie now.
Who
Can I
gave us
tell
the
you,
great I challenge that.
I'm gonna make you really mad right now.
What?
I'm gonna make you so mad, all of you. This happened in 1993. So he's recalling a story from 1993. Do you know what else was happening in 1993?
What?
Women were being put on trial when they were raped. What were you
Ugh.
wearing? How short was your skirt? Did
Why
you
were
have
you
on
out that
perfume?
late? Why
Yeah.
would you walk down that
So
alley?
in a male mentality, is
Mm,
his maleness deferring to she was asking for it. She said no, but she meant yes. She
mm,
she she was she was happy. She smiled
mm.
at me. So, that's all I'm not believe me, I am absolutely in no fucking way siding with this guy, but when you said what would make him think that, it's probably what he thought he could fucking say and get away with. Like, maybe another guy would be like, "Yeah, man, I get that." No, bro, no one gets it, you sick
No.
fuck.
So, I was a little girl once upon a time, and I
So
can
was
tell
I.
you with certainty,
Go for it.
I would never
Nope.
just walk up to some random old and I'm sorry,
No.
20s, some random old man
Nope.
and just wanna talk to him. I can remember being
I didn't wanna talk to
7.
the old men that I knew, i.e. my
No,
uncles.
I remember being, like, 7-ish, and somebody maybe I don't know, grandpa, somebody had, like, shorts on, and there was hair on their legs, and I was disgusted because in my little prepubescent era, like, we had no hair on our
Oh
bodies.
my god, and their
It was
shorts were so short,
disgusting.
and they are so gross.
Disgusting.
Yes.
She
No,
did not
no.
engage him.
I also was
Fucking
a
loser.
little baby sweet innocent Lisa, and I was not talking to grown men.
No.
They're gross with
Yes.
their stupid mustaches.
Yes.
Ah, but you guys are doing great with your mustaches now. Okay, you're creaming them real nice.
So he says she got into his car willingly.
No.
Bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit,
No.
bullshit.
I know
And
that
he
from
just
somewhere.
um forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Boom.
And he just drives off with her. He keeps her for 9 days. He treats her the way he treats her. It's all horrible. And he's convicted and given the life sentence because he confessed. So no death penalty. There is, of course, because it's probably so, there is, of course, suspicion that he is responsible for multiple other instances of attacks.
100%, sis.
But if no kit was collected, if no report was made, if, there's
Sis.
no way to tie him to it.
Sis.
Oh, she's hitting herself. Okay.
This is my back scratcher.
Love it.
If he was doing this in Germany in 1982, and this was before 1982, and he was breaking parole in 1985, and he was doing all his other shit, this was not the first time he fucking
No,
did this.
no, I agree. So, December 2024, douchebag dies in prison as he should have. We'll say natural causes, whatever. I hope he died of like cancer of the liver and it was really painful.
It, it doesn't matter. He didn't deserve one of those fucking days.
No,
Not one, not
no,
one
no.
did he deserve of those.
Ooh, she did a
Not
clenched teeth yell. Did you hear it?
not one.
Not one.
So
I agree.
I am beyond sorry to drag
So
you all
this is one of
down this
those
path with us.
this is one
Misery
of
loves
those
company?
things where
Question mark.
I this is one of those things where when they talk about the untested rape kits and stuff, this is one of those things where you might, if you were able to test those kits, connect him to and close some cases.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Like, how much does it cost to test DNA? Like, is it like
I don't even
everybody?
know.
Oh, everybody says it's like $25,000.
Dude, I'm pretty sure it was less than $100 for me to spit in the thing and send it to 23andMe. I got a brother out of it.
But oh, sis. Hey, Brandon.
Hi, Brandon.
Does he listen?
I don't think so, but I'll tell him. I'll tell him. He sees enough carnage. He doesn't need to listen to
I know.
this.
Poor Brandon. I just am curious, like, when they talk about it costs money to test this or we had to get the courts to let us test this,
What
who
is that all
what is
about?
that about? Like, if it's DNA, if it's evidence, doesn't it belong to us, the people? Like, can't we
Isn't it
decide?
my DNA?
Did we talk about this last podcast? I think we did when I said I wanna decide where my taxes are going.
Yes, we made a list.
I
We
want
said we
my
wanted
taxes
to
to
be able to
go.
check off all the
Yes.
things. Yes.
So, until the day when we can make donations to end the backlog or test the DNA,
Someday
someday maybe, someday, maybe, then
we
I
shall use our
say
powers for good.
I love that you say powers for good. I think that we should meantime, let's get that whole Blood Eagle thing going again.
I like that.
I mean, it might only take a couple before people are like,
Just saying.
"Shit, I better rethink this." Yeah, get your hands off that precious little baby, step back, and I won't rip your lungs out of your back
I
while
will
you're
allow
alive.
you to jump off the cliff and just end your existence so that you can't hurt anybody else. And if you don't jump off the cliff, I'm going to blood eagle you. How's
Mhm.
that? There it is.
There it is.
All right.
So, thanks for listening to this one. It's important that we remember how we failed. It's important that we remember how we can do better. It's important that we try to do better.
I knew
Okay?
this was going to be a rough one.
It was a
My
rough
brain
one.
didn't want to accept it, but I
I
was like,
didn't
oh,
I actually my sister and I were going over the document that she made a rainbow out of, and I was like, "Hey, so here's the thing. We've been doing some big heavy hitters that make me cry at night and I can't
lot of
sleep.
information. Yeah.
And I am trying to I'm like, I can't make fun out of certain things, even though I think I may have hit a laugh or two through this. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe we'll do something that is a little lighter, but it's a true crime podcast. So
If you're looking for light, you're in the wrong place, baby.
oof, oof. If you want inappropriate and
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
who will
Wildly
help you laugh at
inappropriate.
the wrong time, I'll help you laugh the right way at the wrong time. How's that?
There it is. There it is.
Damn. Okay.
Don't park next to vans, bitches.
Roll up your windows, guys.
And
Come on, George. Let's go.
God damn it.
Mm,
Bye.
bye.
Executive produced by me, Marie Abenante, and my sister, Lisa Linsner.
Music by John Bartman, track Shooter on the Roof. Cover art by the talented and beautiful Alexis Guerrero.
And all of this is possible editing and recording using Riverside.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Bye.